Hello Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet, and I'm just being, where is it? Just being followed around by a bush turkey. He came right up to me before I started the video. I wasn't nervous, you know. Shit. Don't mess with nature. I know a lot of you kids out there like watching Disney, but nature ain't like that, right? He knows who the top of the food chain is, you know. Anyway, hello everyone. And while we're waiting for football to get going again, I thought I'd give you my thoughts on the season so far, and you know where I think we're heading. If you look at our next few fixtures, we've got Sheffield United, so we should be okay with that. And then we've got a couple of testing fixtures, and I'm really looking forward to these games just to see how far Tottenham have come. Because I saw something on Sky Sports, and they're saying, oh, what's the surprise teams of the year? And they're saying, oh, well, Tottenham are pretty good, but they've only played teams that they can beat. Well, according to my measure, I'll just bring it up, the Dreamometer, we have gained 5 points on equivalent fixtures last year, because Spurs have a habit of not winning those games that we should be winning. And that seems to have turned around very, very nicely indeed. So Arsenal at Highbury and Liverpool away are going to be two real good tests. But for me, the real test comes along the 3rd of December, because that's when we play Manchester City. Now, I might have the dates wrong because I'm in Australia. It might be the 2nd of December. The world's round, you know what I mean? Unless you're an internet nutter. I know you're out there somewhere, nutters. That for me, that's the real test, Manchester City, because I think the way things are at the moment, Tottenham are the best team in England. We're playing the best football. We're scoring brilliant goals. Everyone's happy. Everyone's going in the same direction. There's a feeling of great spirit around the place that. If I was to say who's rivaling that at the moment, that spirit, probably Newcastle, although that's been tempered a bit because they haven't had the results haven't been going their way as much. But when I look at the other teams, the supposed top four, Arsenal are up and down all over the place. I think we're going to win at Highbury. Liverpool is hard to say. Much as some people are saying with Tottenham, I'd say with Liverpool, it's a similar sort of boat. They started off with a draw against Chelsea, and then have won games they kind of should have. So it's going to be an interesting competition, that one, Liverpool and Tottenham. Manchester City, oh my lord, what a basket case! What a basket case! Sancho, Greenwood, all this gubbins going on. The Glazers, are they going to buy or sell the club? They look to me like a club in real disarray at the moment, so not a challenge. Manchester City are always Manchester City, so we know about them. Chelsea, rubbish, and they're going to stay rubbish. So if I look at where we are right now, which is we're gaining points on equivalent fixtures last year, I would say that when we get to December the 3rd, that's when we're going to know how good we are. And I'm hoping we're going to surprise some people. Now, I'm not ruling out a significant push for a title this season, or maybe even winning it. And you might say, oh, it's only been 4 games. What do you know? Well, the short answer is I don't know anything. I'm just talking what I reckon, which is all I can do. So if you want expertise, there's plenty of channels around for that. But let me give you my reasons for being so uncautiously optimistic around after only a few games start. And the reason is, the main reason for me is Ange Postecoglou. Now, if you look at Ange Postecoglou's managerial record, he kind of has had the reputation, I'd say this, I think he's kind of had the reputation of taking time to get going. And if you look at his record, the time he takes to get going has kind of picked up a bit of pace as he's gone along. It took like South Melbourne. He went from being a player to being from captain to being a manager, and it's almost instant success there. Then a few bit of gubbins. Brisbane Roar. It took him a while to get going there. He had to do a massive clear out of Brisbane Roar. Melbourne Victory didn't stay there too long, but again, a big clear out to start things off. So can't really tell too much from that. Yokohama though, I think the first season they finished like mid-table, and this is a team that hadn't won for years, but he got them to the final of a cup, which bodes well, I think, again for Tottenham's FA Cup tilt this year. And at Celtic, after a start where Celtic were knocked out of the European Cup in the qualifying stages. Took a while to get going. It was really, I guess, I'd say after the January transfer window, that's when Celtic really started flying. I mean, they were good before that, don't get me wrong, but after January, that's when we saw. It's all right, there's nothing there. I tell you, can't trust nature. Don't trust Disney, man. It's not all smiles. Don't hug a kangaroo, whatever you do. Or try and hop down the road on one. So, in my mind, his period of getting his style of play in the team has been decreasing, and I think there's a couple of factors in that. I think one is Ange is getting better at his job. We've got the best Ange that Ange has ever been right now. And next year he's going to be better. The year after he's going to be even better. Ange just keeps on getting better. So because it's not his first rodeo, he's got more of an idea how to get his philosophy into a club quickly. The other thing is, as each stage he's gone up, as Ange has said numerous times, the challenge is kind of the same because you have more resources and better players available. But then you look at Tottenham, man, and I was expecting, I wouldn't say like a really wobbly start, but I really did think it would take a lot longer, as in maybe 6-7 games, for us to change from that pragmatic style of boring football we've been playing to a gung-ho, let's just try and score as many goals as we can for 90 minutes. And it's that speed. It's that speed that gives me hope, because it's not often you see an Ange team, when it gets going, having a lot of difficulty, having patches of poor form for 5 or 6 games that just destroy your season. That doesn't tend to happen. And as I said in a video the other day, Tottenham have basically got going after 45 minutes. You could even say that during our pre-season friendlies we got going, but I'm not really counting that so much because they're not competitive games. Totally different pressure. But after the first 45 minutes against Brentford, there we go. We're playing football. After maybe 20 minutes against Man United, off we go. Bournemouth and Burnley is like 5 minutes, which is going to happen in you're not going to dominate all 90 minutes of a game. Well, it happens very rarely. So 5 minutes, whether it's the start of the game or start of the second half or end of the second half or whenever it is, it's probably going to happen. So I would suggest that because Ange is better than he's ever been, he's got better players that he's ever had, and he's got off to a better start than I can recall him having. I mean, I think the exception with that might be South Melbourne, but I'm not an expert on that. I could look it up in Wikipedia, but I ain't cheating. I'm just going to go from my own box of ducks. Better players, the system's in. He's got the crowd all with him quicker than ever. There's a real Ange Postecoglou bandwagon going on, which I might have been on it first, driving it up front, but just got to be modest about these sorts of things. To stay away. Like, even this morning, I woke up and I looked at my YouTube feed, and it was like a Russell Brand video talking about Ange Postecoglou. And as usual, when I turn on it, I don't know why Russell Brand I just don't like the cut of his jib, even though years ago he used to say sort of more hippie stuff. I still didn't like it somehow. Insincere, hacky or something. So as usual, I watched 30 seconds and couldn't get to the bit where he was talking about Ange. But Russell Brand's on the bandwagon. Everyone's on the bandwagon. Um, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's much to stop us at the moment. So I'm really looking forward to the games against Arsenal and Liverpool to see, that's a fair measure of how far we've come. I think we're definitely going to beat Arsenal. Liverpool, tough, tough game to play at Anfield. Whereas with Arsenal, I think they're playing really not very well. Liverpool can be quite difficult to break down. They're quite, when I picture Liverpool in my mind, I kind of picture them as quite a rigid team, a robust team. I don't mean that in a boring Sam Allardyce way, but quite workmanlike. Maybe that's not the right word either, but solid, very, very solid. Solid is usually a term for like mediocre, but I'm using it as a compliment. Like really, they are a solid team, very difficult. But they have hot and cold spells as well. So Liverpool away, we look, if we get three points on that, fantastic. But I'm not holding out. The real one I'm waiting for is Manchester City, because that's the game for me. That's, because even if we're still 2 points behind Manchester City, that would take us to the top of the table, pretty much heading into Christmas. Now we've got a whole string of fixtures in between Liverpool and Manchester City, but they're kind of the games that you'd want to win, or at least get a good draw if you're away. I mean, I'm even including Chelsea in that. I don't see Chelsea as being any challenge whatsoever this year. So I think things are looking good, but in a few short weeks, I think that's when people are really going to start taking us seriously. And if we're in the top two going into Christmas, then mark my words, whether we'll win it this year or not, this season or not, I'm not sure. But we're going to be up there. We're going to be in the mix. And next year, people had better watch out. But we're going to find out soon, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how Tottenham Hotspur, the greatest football team the world has ever seen, just measures up against some of these big boys. Anyway, until next time, folks, peace and love, man. And come on, you Spurs.